Serratia marcescens. It is little tiny rods. How do you know it's not coxy? Because they're not all perfectly round. Remember, if you look at a rod from the end, it could seem round. So you might say, well, that one is round, but that one's not, and that one's not, and that one's not, and this is all the same microbe over and over again. So this is E. coli on an acid-fast stain. How do you know? It's baby blue. Now remember, how would you know the stains? Because on the gram stain, your two colors are purple and pink. On an acid-fast stain, they're baby blue and fuchsia or hot pink. So, and then on endospore, it's pink and green. So is that green?
No.
It's not endospore. Is there pink? No. So it can't be gram and it can't be endospore. So what's it got to be? Acid-fast, because there's only 3. All right, if you looked at the next one, that one would be pink, and there are little pieces of garbage green here, so this you know was endospore. Now this one is very hard to read here. I won't give you that harder one on the test. Let's go down to, there. That one is all. This is one that's been cooked a little bit too much. There's a few baby blue here. It's mostly hot pink. Now, there is a difference between this pink and that pink. This is hot pink. That's saffron pink. And that's green. So it is going to be a little bit hard for you to see, but if you do the pairings, you shouldn't have trouble. And remember, look at this one. This is saffron pink and purple. So what is it? Gram. And it's actually mycobacterium on a gram, mostly positive with a few pink. Now this one is very hard to read. It is an acid-fast stain. These are a few hot pink rods and mostly baby blue. Since your color pairings are baby blue and hot pink, and this is definitely baby blue, it couldn't be anything else, this has to be an acid-fast stain. And how many does it take to make acid-fast positive? 1 hot pink rod. So there you can see there are hot pink rods. So that one's not quite as obvious, but if you remember your 1 hot pink rod, you'll be fine. If you remember your pairs, how would you know this is an acid-fast? Because you've got baby blue. That's the only stain that's got baby blue. This is green and pink, so that's an endospore. This is purple and saffron. You might say, well, that's black, but there is no black. I can't. If your choice is purple car or see, I have pink cars, I have purple cars, I have green cars, I have hot pink cars, and I have baby blue cars, and you say it's black. That isn't one of the choices. You have to pick it. Again, here is acid-fast again, mostly baby blue, but you have some hot pink rods. Some people said to me, I can't tell that's rods. Well, remember, if you can't tell it's a rod, all the cocci are big and perfectly round. There is nothing big there. So when in doubt, it's a rod. This is gram stain of smegmatis, a few pink, and lots of purple. Gram stain of Staph aureus or Micrococcus luteus, blackish purple. Blackish purple. Blackish purple with pink underneath on the gram stain of Bacillus. And here is the one that's going to screw you over on acid-fast. These are both Bacillus megaterium. This one, the cells are baby blue, and the endospores are hot pink. So this is acid-fast negative. Why? What is the cell stain? Endospores are egg-shaped, and they're not cells. So they are not hot pink. It doesn't matter what they are. They're not cells. So everybody understand how to read this one? Baby blue rods makes it what? Negative. All right, so one last thing on acid-fast, and that's the correct nomenclature, but I want you to forget it. Remember how I said if it keeps the first color you put on, it's positive, and if it keeps the second color you put on, it's negative. And for the gram stain, the majority rules, but for the acid fast stain, one hot pink rod makes it positive. All right. Even today, when you raise your hand and tell me it, I want you to say, if you see a hot pink rod, I want you to tell me it's acid fast positive. But in microbiology terminology, acid fast positive is not the correct answer. An organism that has a lipid layer that retains carbonyl fusion is said to be acid fast. And those that are not acid fast positive and do not retain the carbonyl fusion but retain the methylene blue are said to be non-acid fast. However, my brain does not hear that. So today when I'm asking you questions, just say acid fast positive or acid fast negative. Remember, on a test, the correct way to say acid fast positive is? Acid fast positive is acid fast. And acid fast negative? Non-acid fast. All right, so flip on all the lights. I'm going to do the demo, and then we're going to do acid fast staining forever. So I have my little clean slide here, and I'm going to make my smear. At first, I was going to make my smear before I even started, and then I thought, oh my gosh, you won't even see how hard it is to make how to get the smear, because this thing is full of lumps. So I'm going to remember, I had a lot of problem with people doing this. This leaves this contaminated, and that's contaminated. So you want to heat the whole length here every time. Heat the whole length, because if you carry the bacteria from one tube to the other, then everybody's going to have a mixed culture, and that'll make it very hard to read. So I'm putting my drop of water on there. I'm heating this to red hot. Someone said in the other class, if you just heated it and you're using water that doesn't really have any bacteria in it, why do you have to heat it again? Good technique. You really don't have to. It's just always, you start with a sterile loop and you end with a sterile loop. Just good technique. Okay, you're going to flame the lip. Remember, hold it by this. Grab it with your little finger. Go downhill. Okay, now notice this is uphill. You're always going to go past half. Don't pick up at the beginning of the tube, a little bit past half. And remember, when you're stroking this like someone's hair, this is going to be kind of scabby. So it's going to be kind of hard. Don't grab the auger. And then when you put it in the water, it's going to come off in clumps, so you're basically going to have to bang it. Just bang those clumps till they fall apart. Once they fall apart, then you can spread it over the rest of the slide. But remember to get the clumps in the circle. And you can actually stroke them into the circle so that you make sure you have your mycobacterium in the circle. Then heat this to red hot to kill everything that might be on it. And that's really important because this mycobacterium is hard to kill. And we'll get my little fan. Yes, I loaned this out last hour, and they ran the whole battery out. Little devils. Remember, the more you spread it over the slide, the more quickly it will dry. And our biggest problem we had last time was too thick on the smears. So start worrying about getting your smear down to barely cloudy. Because now you know how to do gram staining and stuff, and your smears should be becoming perfect. Okay, believe it or not, that thing is already dry. Remember, if you heat fix when it's still damp, it will explode the bacteria. So it has to be absolutely dry in the circle. You want to make it uncomfortably warm. Got my little And we're going to get our carbonyl fusion and our acid alcohol. Remember, it won't work with ethanol, so make sure you get the right one. And we'll need methylene blue. Here. I know this may be very hard for you, but you have to share the stain bottles. It may hurt, but you'll be okay. Another fun thing about this one is please keep the stain bottles on a piece of paper towel because they dribble everywhere. Don't pick up by the cap because they deteriorate. So, we're going to unscrew this one. See, it's a big mess. We're going to get a big amount of it, and we're going to put 2 or 3 drops, get a good bubble of it, and we're going to keep it balanced so that the circle itself is covered. We're going to pass it through there, and then back, balancing it. Just watching the edges. We are gently raising the temperature of the carbonyl fusion, and now it's beginning to withdraw. So after it begins to withdraw, we're going to shake it off. We're going to get this acid alcohol. We're going to get a half a dropper full, ready to go. Get our water ready to go. Don't get the disinfection. Okay, and I'm going to aim above it. Shake and wash. And you'll want to wash the back side, but not at the circle, just around it. Then lay it down there like that. And put your methylene blue on. And again, remember, since the previous step was water, you would like to put the methylene blue on, shake it off, and put it back on. Here's a caution to remember. And, you know, I'm just doing this because I love you and I know that Ronald Reagan ruined your lives. So what happens if you get red and blue together? It's purple. So if you didn't get all the carbonyl fusion off with your acid alcohol and you put methylene blue on top, everything's going to be purple, which isn't a color in this state. It's hot pink and blue. So if you get purple, you either heated the carbonyl fusion too hot and it bound to the slide, or you didn't get it off with it. You put a drop or 2 of acid alcohol instead of a half a dropper full of acid alcohol. And you're going to leave that on 2 minutes. Anybody have questions about this process? Anything about it? Yeah?
When you made the smear, did you go out the slide?
Yeah, I spread it around, but I made sure I stroked some of those clumps right in the circle. Even though after I beat them, you could still see them. They look like little fibers. You had another one? Yeah.
Quick question. If the cells are hot pink, it's positive, right? So
If you have a hot pink rod, it has to be a rod. If it's a circle, it's overheated. Or it's a endospore. It has to be a rod. Other questions? Okay, I'm going to take my little methylene blue and watch, shake it off. And I'm not going to overwash, I'm just going to rinse around it and let it dribble down. And then I'm going to fold over and blot that dry. And then I'm going to put oil on it and look at it, and I'll have it up here on the microscope. You can get started. Remember, I'm going to hand out the pop quiz now, so as soon as you get finished with the quiz, bring it, put it up here on my briefcase. Remember to get rid of all food and drink. It has to disappear from sight. We're in lab. So, hi, sir.
Before you put us
Jackal! Where'd you get that? Good? Next time you go over there, let me know. I want to try it. Don't forget to put whether you have pop quiz 1J or K. And don't forget to hide food or drink.
Excuse me. Stop the video, right?
What? Oh yeah, tank. See, is that green? It's not endospore. Is there pink? No. So it can't be gram and it can't be endospore. So what's it got to be? Acephate, because there's only 3. All right, if you looked at the next one, that one would be pink, and there are little pieces of garbage green here, so this you know was endospore. Now this one is very hard to read here. I won't give you that part. Serratia marcescens. It is little tiny rods. How do you know it's not cocci? Because they're not all perfectly round. Remember, if you look at a rod from the end, it could seem round. So you might say, well, that one is round, but that one's not, and that one's not, and that one's not, and this is all the same microbe over and over again. So this one on the test, let's go down to, there. That one is all. This is one that's been cooked a little bit too much. There's a few baby blue here. It's mostly hot pink. Now, there is a difference between this pink and that pink. This is hot pink. This is E. coli on an acid-fast stain. How do you know? It's baby blue. Now remember, how would you know the stains? Because on a gram stain, your 2 colors are purple and pink. On an acid-fast stain, they're baby blue and fuchsia or hot pink. So, and then on endospore, it's pink and green. So is it for any pink? And that's green. So it is going to be a little bit hard for you to see, but if you do the pairings, you shouldn't have trouble. And remember, look at this one. This is saffron, pink, and purple. So what is it? Gram. And it's actually mycobacterium on a gram, mostly positive with a few pink.